Hi there everybody, and welcome to another video. On today's video I have this BMW 118, the F20 2017, and I'm going to be changing the oil and the oil filter. So just to get on with it, I'm going to start by opening the oil filter cap here. Just take that out and also remove this cover here, and that cover just unplugs. I already unplugged it, that just pops out of these rubber mounts. So just be careful with those. Sometimes they come off and they fall out, or sometimes they stay on these bits here where they come out from. So like this one is gone a little bit weird in here, but sometimes that's what happens to them. So it's worth sometimes putting a little bit of grease on them when you fit this back, so that way they slide in easier. Now the oil filter, this is the oil filter I'm going to be using, OX813-2D, but make sure you get the correct one for your vehicle. So to get the oil filter out, we're going to need one of these tools. This is a 27mm socket. The oil filter housing is just sitting there. You can just see the top of it. So the tool just sits on there. Get this on it. You can just about get the angle there. And we can open the oil filter, which hopefully shouldn't be too tight. And they open slowly. Whatever oil is in there will drain down into the sump. Okay, it's now loose. Take this off. Okay, so that is open now. But I just want to let it drain for a few minutes, because if I just pull it out, it might drip a bit of oil around here. Also, the actual filter may stay in there, and we can pull it out afterwards. So let's get this. Sometimes the whole thing comes out together, so just be aware. So there's our filter. Sometimes this bit remains in there, but in this case the whole thing came out. You can just pull this out. So we're gonna take this out once we're draining the oil. Okay, put all of that done. Gonna get the car up, drain the oil from underneath. Just one thing to remember, if you're working outside, maybe leave this little cover sitting on that hole, so nothing goes in there, any leaves or any dirt as such. Okay, so let's get on with this. Looking at the car from underneath, we have this little cover here. If you open this plastic retainer here, you can just get this cover down. And that will reveal a 17mm sun plug bolt there. So make sure you get an oil pan, and just remember before you open that, if the engine has been running, the oil can be very hot, so don't burn yourself. Okay, so I have my 17mm socket here. Okay, the reason I'm using this is because my sun plug bolt is very hot, as this engine has been running before it came to me, so the oil is quite hot, so that's why we just have to be careful. Okay, so I'm just gonna let that drain for a little while. In the meantime, we'll take care of our filter, oil filter. Okay, so there's not much to it. Here's the oil filter. Just have to get it out of there. So I should be able to pull it out. And also, just gonna get this O-ring out. And inside of your new filter you will have this O-ring and this new copper washer. So just get the old copper washer out, get the new one in, and that is ready to go back. And then we can also just clean this a little bit. Get the new O-ring. Put it around the correct groove there, not the top one, but the one at the bottom. And we can add a little bit of copper grease. I mean, a little bit of multi-purpose grease. You can also use a bit of oil. This just makes sure that when you screw this back on, this O-ring slides nicely in without getting torn or getting stuck. Now this bit I will not be filling in here. I'll fill it straight into the engine first, and then we'll put the cover on it. Okay, so I think this goes without saying. I'm gonna fit my sun plug bolt in there. Some of these get tight into 20 or 25 newton-meters. I'm just gonna use my ratchet. I haven't got my torque wrench right now. Then we can close this, and I'm going to lower the car and we can top up some oil. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. So get the ball, tighten it, and close this. Okay, now we're ready to get our oil filter in there. Now just if you look at the hole down there, where the oil filter goes, there will be a little tiny slot for this to fit in, so you'll be able to feel it once you got your filter in there. just it will kind of slot into place all by itself anyway. You can feel it. If you were putting it the wrong way, it won't feel right. So if you, I mean, I got it in there at the moment, it's all loose. If I just rotate it a little bit, it goes into place, and then I can push it down. So then you know it's in the correct place, and then if you try to rotate it, you won't be able to rotate it anymore because it is slotted into the correct place all by itself. We can then go ahead and get this cover back on there, and if you look in this cover, it says 25 Newton meters to tighten this little cover as well. Okay, and normally I like to get the cover in there by hand, so make sure it's going in the correct direction. Sometimes you have to push down a little bit because obviously it's gotta sit on your filter, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get it on, but once you do, you will feel it's going in, and then you can screw the cap. But like I said, if you find any resistance, make sure that cap is going in the correct direction, because it should be pretty much going in fairly easily. Okay, so I'm just gonna fiddle with that a little bit because I need my two hands. Okay, I just got it in there. So you can just about see from this angle the filter. So I can get it in as far as that. I can feel the gap there. It's the same on the other side. Sometimes it goes in at a little bit of an angle, so that's what you want to make sure it doesn't happen, because you can then get your tool in there and force it in the wrong direction. So even now with my tool, there should be no real resistance as such. Should be fairly easy to turn. Like so. If you have a torque wrench, go ahead and torque that to 25 Newton meters. I haven't got one right now, so, but I do this almost all the time, so pretty much know how much to tighten it with. Now we can put some oil in there. The manual says 4.25 liters for the 118 this particular year 17. I think the previous one before 2017 takes 4.2, so just talking about 0.5 there, but anyway, those are the figures. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some 4 liters in there, and then we'll continue. Okay, so I got 4 liters in there already, and just gonna add the 0.25, which is 250 mils. All right, I got my 250 mils there. Now I can remove that. Put this cover back on. And I'm using 5W30 mobile. You can check the recommended viscosities for your engine according to temperature, where you live and whatnot. So I did put a little bit of grease on those rubbers, and as I was saying, depending where you live, you want to choose the correct viscosity for your engine. So like I said, this particular one, I'm using 5W30. That covers a good range of temperatures, and although we are starting to go into extremes, we still haven't reached really extreme, so still using the same type of oil. Now I'm just gonna get that car started, and make sure everything's running okay. So with this particular model, there's no dipstick, so we can't really check the oil capacity quantities with a dipstick. We really need to use the computer here, but sometimes it takes a little while to measure it. So if I go to menu there, vehicle information, vehicle status, and then go to engine oil level. Yes, okay. Engine oil level, it's okay, it says, but okay, that's the measured engine oil. So start measurement, and it will start measuring. Hopefully give us the amount. Okay, so it's getting there, slowly but surely. Alright, it says the oil is at the max, so you can see the green measurement, like dipstick looking thing there. And well, that's pretty much it. Engine's running okay. So I think that's all. So I hope this video helps. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.